come across the Reddits recently, and here it is at full speed. Guy getting a drink, goes down bowling, takes down three of his mates. So let's get a look at what happened here. Rewind, rewind, rewind. Not a whole lot here, pretty basic. My first assessment is it seems like I'm trying to understand the context here. For one, it looks like we have at least 5 riders because we have camera likely on a seat post of bike one. So camera bike. So our first victim or our probably our guilty party here, rider two, is behind camera bike, right? And so what happens, what the eventual cause of the crash is, or the eventual thing that makes this happen is he comes across and effectively forces his front wheel to chop himself on camera wheel right there. Ding, hits the, sorry, my play bar is blocking a little bit, but since essentially front to rear wheel contact, and he's not in a place to save it. So there's quite a few things happening here to make this go down. First, let's kind of start with what I think is the context is. For one, there's no order to where these riders are on the road. They don't seem to be in a single or double line. Maybe there's a rotation. This guy's getting a drink and that guy's getting a drink as well. So maybe they just went through a fast part and they've kind of the group is broken up a little bit. That could be what's happening. You got 2 guys getting a drink, but nobody is really in any kind of formation here that makes sense. This guy in all black seems to be out in the wind. Um, and, this guy maybe, yeah, I'm thinking they just went hard or, and there's a lull in whatever they're doing. Like they just went through a fast bit. And so now's a chance for me to get a drink. This guy looks gassed. This guy, I'm not sure what he's doing out in the wind there. Could be any number of things. But all these guys seem to be looking forward. They don't seem to see what's going on here. So yeah, I can't really, I don't know if I'm going to 100% fault these guys for not being able to Taco Tuesday, that wheel's folding up. Um, yeah, I don't know if they had a chance here to save themselves a little bit by paying attention a little bit more. So let's go to what happened and what our guilty rider did here. One, he's getting a drink. No problem. You should be able to get a drink while you're riding your bike. He is in, they're on the right side of the road, so I'm assuming left is his front brake. Hard to say with this setup. So he's got his hand, at least for now, out of frame. As he's getting a drink, I'm assuming if you're a good rider, he has a finger around the lever. We've always said here, if you're in a group, have a finger around the lever. It shouldn't be in a relaxed place where if there's a panic, you have the extra step of getting your fingers to the lever. They should already be there. So let's see if we can see that as we bring him into frame, getting a drink. Everything seems good. Like he seems like he's calmly putting his bottle down there. Maybe he's reaching for his drop there. Can't tell. So there's something going on. Yeah, so he seems good here maybe, and he's about to put his bottle away. And now he's, because of the draft, he's sucked in past and he's overlapping wheels of camera bike, and now he's panicking. So he's panicking. He needs to grab brake. Just a little kiss the brake, and he's not overlapping and no problems. But we see here, look, his hand is not on the lever. And this is exacerbated. The problem of not having your fingers around the lever is magnified by the fact that now he's riding with one hand, and depending on where you are, especially kind of deep in the drop right there, a lot of riders, most riders can't, especially in a panic situation, can't get their fingers to the lever with one hand on the bike because you're compromising your handling. You may even just steer yourself right into the ground. So he can't. This rider can't get his fingers on the lever. He can't do anything until he gets his other hand up there to stabilize. And now maybe he could grab brake, and it's too late. Tippy canoe. He's clipped the wheel and he's going down. And now it's over, right? And so what I'm looking at here is now I want to see, did the other riders have a chance? So this guy completely screwed up. His first mistake was no finger around the lever. This all would have been solved, no problems, if he just a little kiss of that brake, just a little touch, and he wouldn't have gone into this wheel, and it would have been fine, and it probably wouldn't even reverberated back to the group to cause much of an issue back there at all. But man, that's it. I mean, that's the whole problem. Could these other guys have saved it? Let's have a look. Um, right here, this guy knows I see when he brings his bottle, he stops putting his bottle in his cage. He's determined he's in trouble. Has anybody else taken action to make an adjustment? See, rider in black over here is not near his near his brakes. From what you can tell, maybe he's not necessarily right behind a rider, and I don't think him getting his brakes would have saved him. Fingers around, probably fingers around levers. And then as he goes down, you can see Black Rider kind of turns his head a little bit, but it's just too late. And this guy comes across and high sides, tink, so fast that it's just over and everybody's down. So there's really nothing any of these guys could have done. They were going to get just completely smashed regardless. So it all came down to really this mistake right here. Just didn't have a finger on a lever. This wouldn't happen. So, they're just in a group ride. Doesn't look to be a race. Nobody's in like full team kit. I don't see any numbers or evidence of numbers. It's something going on here. And just kind of based on body language, what's that guy doing? See, that guy had made a hand adjustment there. So he grabbed his bottle, got a drink, and then didn't like something. So takes his hand off his bottle. Does he touch some brakes? Hard to say. He doesn't go backwards. Yeah, so it's really just our man here on the front. This is his fault. You really couldn't have done a whole lot if you're behind him, other than this is what I'm going to say, and it's going to offend some people. But I am always going to, if you've been a road rider a long time, you ride in groups, you tend to judge people by how they look, how their bike is set up, the way they wear their kit, things like that. And there's always a back and forth of how insular and pissed off roadies can be, but this is the reason. We are going to judge people by how they look until they prove they're a safe rider. And just on looks alone, if I'm looking at that guy's, just the way he's got his kit, and those shoes are kind of, he bought a bargain basement all Velcro shoe. He's inexperienced at best. He's new to the game. He's inexperienced at best. That's a guy I'm going to keep my eye on. And if I see him getting a drink, I'm gonna the alarm bells are gonna go off. If I'm one of these guys back here and I see that guy getting a drink, man, I'm creating a gap, and I'm expecting him to have some problems. The other guys, it's hard to say. I don't have great resolution here to see how experienced they are. Um, but generally, when I see someone on a group ride who has arm warmers on before knee warmers, because in cold weather, you're going to cover your knees first, unless you're racing, and that's only because they're hard to take off once you do warm up when you're racing. My guy back here has knee warmers on first, so they're kind of layered incorrectly, but I think a lot of people do that. They put arm warmers on because they want to look good before they ride good. And so that kind of leads me to think maybe these guys are a little less experienced. A really experienced rider on a cold day is going to have the knee warmers are going to be the last thing they take off. But yeah, it really is just the lesson we keep learning here. Put your finger around your lever when you're in a group.